We're alive!
We are live. Sorry for the wait, guys. Dylan was making sure he had his RE27 all ready to go. Dylan's now racing around trying to get himself some headphones. How's it going? Okay, so the chat already full. Sean gave us a ton of stuff to talk about. Andrew says Dylan needs time to adjust his Blue Yeti correctly, apparently.
Trolls, love it.
Serious question, Sean. Can anyone suggest ideal brand and type of batteries for Sound Devices Mix Pre 3 audio recorder? Whatever I bought died on location my last time out real fast. I use the really good rechargeable.
RGR, yeah.
Yeah, the RGR, real good rechargeable. They cost a lot of money, like they're $50. You get the charger and the batteries, but they last quite a while, and you don't have to pay for them over and over. And I think I've had mine for like 2 years. They're still going pretty strong.
I've never even heard of it. Well, no, I've never used them. I've heard of the brand. I just haven't used them.
Paul says Dylan is someone who can reasonably pull off fashionably late, right?
No. I'm sorry. No, nobody else is holding me accountable, so apparently I have to hold myself accountable. No, this is me not planning far enough in advance.
Unacceptable, by the way. RGR sounds great. Yeah.
I can't. You know how radio stations are with last minute shenanigans, man. Like,
Yeah.
like we're doing like a 6-person Christmas party. They're like, how are we gonna record this? I'm like, good question. How are you gonna record this? And they're like, well, we need mics. I'm like, yeah, good. We figured out part of the problem.
Microphones help. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then maybe some cables, stands, clips, just spitballing, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sean says you should eat something crunchy. By the way. Oh, please don't. Richard, how's it going? Paul, how's it going? Sean, obviously. Di Tabby wanted to know upgrading from a Rode Pod mic and a Revelator IO24. The Revelator IO24 will serve you quite well unless you need more inputs. But from a Rode Pod mic, man, you can go to anything. If you want better sound quality, man, you go to an SM58 and you're rocking with an SM58.
Off to the races.
But I mean, depending on how much money you have to spend, I would honestly say one of my favorite upgrades to do would be the SE Dynacaster. I love that thing. It's cheap. It's cheaper than the SM7B. Yeah, great little mic. Ms. Ravioli, how's she going? There's a new Pinocchio movie out. Yeah,
Pinocchio.
that's what Sean was talking about earlier. Midnight Wolf, Wooba Luba Dub Dub. Wubba Lubba Dub Dub.
That's that corkage.
Nice. Yeah, so by the way, big news from my studio. Back about a year ago, we used to have, and Dylan, you saw this, we used to have a little couch down here and a TV. And then we got a new couch upstairs, and so my wife made me put the old sectional down here. It was a massive thing. Took up so much room, and I argued forever. And finally, as stuff kept coming in for the studio, I kept just piling stuff on the sofa. I had nowhere else to put it. And so the wife came down to do laundry one day, and she looked at it, and she goes, holy shit. She said, get rid of it all. She's like, get rid of all of it. And I'm like, well, no, this is my studio. What are you talking about? She's like, no, I mean the couch. I'm sorry? So I now have this whole room to myself for the first time since I moved in here 3 years ago. I have this whole studio space to myself. So what that means is we're getting a second studio background. This one's
gonna get some sets. Gonna get some sets going on.
I've got 2 more sets that I want to do. The first one, let me get my microphone there. The first one's going to be like a tool-based set with, I've got some pegboard on the way. By the way, pegboard's really expensive. I don't know if you knew this. Stupid expensive. $300 for a pegboard setup.
What's the dimensions?
It's like 4 foot by, was it 3
like
foot?
4x5 or
4 by 3
by 4.
Yeah. but it's metal.
Standard pegboard for $300.
But it's metal,
just-
and it comes with some of the pegs that you need. And
Oh man, at that point, I just say like that's like the easiest DIY project ever. Get a drill,
Yeah.
a drill, get some dowels.
I don't have the time or energy to even try to do that. So then I went and bought some shelves because I needed some new shelves. My old shelf was completely whack. So I bought some nice metal shelves. I was going to put a shelf on either side of my tool chest. But it turns out the shelves are too big, so one shelf has to be turned sideways. I'm just a mess this week, so I'm trying to set that up. And then I want to set up a second set where it's a chair and a brick wall in behind. So I'm going to get one of those faux brick walls.
Nice. Oh, I wanted to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I wanted to do that.
I'm gonna do
I
it.
still might do that in here, or maybe do like use that stuff and make like brick columns or fake columns in the wall.
Yeah. Something like that.
Because some of them actually, because the foam stuff, the facade actually makes decent, like just rudimentary soundproofing too.
Yeah.
Because it's so like just buoyant or not.
Yeah,
buoyant,
and it's also not flat. It's got
contouring to it.
Dan says nice passive aggressiveness to get away rid of the sectional. Yes, that's how it works in this relationship.
That's how it works in every relationship.
But if you saw the basement, how long ago was that? That was two years ago.
It was cramped as shit. Yeah,
That was 2 years ago, right? It
a
wasn't
year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay, so a year and a half ago, cramped as shit. And since then, I've gotten so much more product. Like product is just pouring in the door.
Yeah, that one plastic shelf you had was really overflowing last time I was there.
I still had that, and I actually just emptied it. And like the two shelves are like half full, but I still have two large shelves that are half full that were on that little plastic shelf. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna enjoy like setting it up. It's been a really, really tiring week. But I think it's gonna look cool. I gotta get some LED lights in behind, and then I'm just gonna turn the camera around when I want to shoot that direction. So I figure if I'm doing anything where I'm like taking stuff apart or anything like that, I'm gonna shoot in that direction. When I'm doing this stuff, I'm gonna shoot in this direction, and I think it's gonna look cool. I think it's gonna be fun.
I think it's gonna be fun.
10 minutes and Dylan has no shirt on. What do you mean Dylan has no shirt on?
What do you call that?
That's a. Dylan usually doesn't show up to the stream without a shirt on. I've talked to him about that.
I've shown up to the stream without a lot of things, common sense being one of them. I've never shown up to the stream without a shirt.
He's shown up without his sobriety. I mean, dude is literally...
Yeah. I've shown up with without my sobriety, and I've left without my sobriety.
On a few occasions.
Bangs has stolen my sobriety.
Oh, is Bangs the one? Is it you're gonna blame it on Bangs?
Bangs is the scapegoat. I mean, that's his role. That's their role on the channel. We still have no idea what gender Bangs is.
I think he has made reference on a few occasions, and I think it's male. But I mean, who am I to call him out on that? Whatever. Yeah. But so this is gonna be fun. So I'm gonna have two separate sets. I'm trying to find a place to put all my instruments, because that's the other thing that's grown. I've gotten a bunch of new instruments. I've gotten a new amp. I have nowhere to put all this shit. Even with all this stuff gone, I'm still struggling.
What's the new amp?
I got the whatchamacallit, the 15 AC.
Right. Yeah.
So like I've got all this stuff, no space. So, and I put the TV, I actually put up a little shelf system for the TV. So the TV is actually tucked away. It's really, really nice. And it's mounted to the wall. So it takes up zero room now. So I can still game. Nice. He pulls his shirt off like Hulk Hogan before the match. That would be awesome. I am a him. Sean, good to know, buddy. Tell us when things grow. No movement yet. Damn, my English is not so good. You speak too fast. Oh, I'm sorry, Di. It's years of working in radio and all that.
Yep.
I apologize. Blame it on Zip Fizz and booze. I wish booze was my problem.
I wish Zip Fizz was my problem, man.
If Aiden's shirt removes the guitar, things get interesting. That's true. It's very true. I start taking my shirt off. Things start going all crazy. It was funny. But when I was doing all this, earlier this week, it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. I got my flu shot. But I also same day, same arm.
Oh, but you're bivalent.
I got or isn't it bivalent or whatever they call it? The bivalent COVID.
Bivalent is
bivalent.
Yeah.
I got that as well, same day. And so from Wednesday morning until actually still now, I can barely stay awake. I am exhausted all the time.
I'm not surprised.
Wednesday was brutal. I had like fever. It was ridiculous. And I know it's the flu shot because the flu shot gets me every time I get it, where I literally get a little mini flu for like 2-3 days.
Do you always get the flu shot or just first year?
Or? No, I haven't had it for a couple years. I got it for 2020. Okay, so 2020 is the last time I got it.
Okay, so you missed a year.
Yeah, and I started getting it back in 2019 because I was getting like both flus during the season. If you don't know, every season they have usually 2 major strains going around of the flu. This is even before COVID. So usually the flu shot has those 2 main strains and maybe even a couple others in it just to kind of keep you protected. And the 1 year I got both flus, and this was 2019. I got a flu that was so bad that I was coughing so hard I almost passed out live on air because I couldn't stop coughing. And I went to the emergency. Everything was fine. They gave me a puffer. It was brutal. And after that, my wife's like, no, you're getting the vaccine. Screw you. I'm sick of putting up with your sick ass. So, bivalent, bimenin. Bimenin. I like that. My COVID booster knocked me up. My flu shot didn't do anything to me. Hey, Bangs, how's it going, buddy? Ping.
Ping.
Red Cabin, cheers from Cleveland. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Andrew, question Aiden. How is the road to almost no USB reviews going? Are you seeing red or has there been a plus to your stance? How is the road to almost no USB reviews going? Nobody's sending me USB mics except for the 2 that I got from Rode. I stand my ground. That said, I believe there's the NT USB Plus. I think that's what you're referring to. Rode didn't send it to me. I wasn't too nice to the Rode NT USB Mini when they sent it to me. Like it just wasn't overwhelming. It was a cool mic for what it could do. It had the Rode Connect where you could put multiple USB mics on a single computer. That was awesome. Rode Connect is an awesome piece of software. The microphones were like, they're okay. Didn't really blow me away. And like what they were modeled for podcasters who all wanted to huddle around the same computer and record a podcast, which sucks, by the way, because they released those like a couple years before COVID, and then nobody was sitting around the same table at all. So I'm sure those mics got a bit of a kick to the ass. Thoughts on the Rode NT USB Mini Plus? No idea. Have not gotten one from Rode. I could request it, but I'm probably not going to. I don't.
But you don't want more USB mics?
Depends on what they've done to it. Like I think
just get them to make it like a skyscraper, and then you can do that whole shenanigan again. Remember that? No, what mic was that? That was a fucking Lewitt, wasn't it?
No, that's the Neat mics. I forget what it's called.
It's their like boundary mic or whatever.
The conference mic. It's a conference mic.
Yeah.
And the wife actually was pointing that out. She said it looks exactly like a butt plug.
The one, not the skyscraper one.
Yeah, it does. It just looks like a really long butt plug. But it does.
Look that up.
Look it up. It's the Neat. I forget what they call it. But when you think about it, like it kind of flares out in the middle. You know, it could be a butt plug. Neat Mike's conference mic. Just search that. Skyline. Skyline. That's what it's called. The Neat Skyline.
Mimages. I don't know. The base isn't thin enough to be a butt plug, methinks.
Well, it depends on how accepting you are, I guess. Sean, I don't have a spleen when you ended up in the hospital.
I mean, if you're gonna say it, it looks like a vibrator that works. But specifically a butt plug, I feel like the base of it needs to be a little more narrowed.
That's also, I like less edges on my butt plugs. I don't know.
You like them less edgy?
Yeah. Midnight Wolf, I had a family member get hospitalized due to heart issues from getting the vaccine. Yeah, there are a lot of people that, not a lot. There are some people that have been having, I forget what they call it, the heart issues. I was borderline, but at the same time, also I just don't work out while I'm waiting for the next boost or while I'm waiting for the effects to wear off.
Yeah.
The numbers suggest that if you're one of the ones that actually has heart issues, that you would struggle with COVID. That's kind of the parallels they were drawing. I knew I would struggle with COVID, so I've just been getting the shots. Don't care. I'm willing to roll the dice on that because you roll the dice on a lot of stuff like that. But you definitely roll the dice on COVID. Should discuss long USB cables for people who are using all those USB mic boards. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea. Actually, Rode's USB cables, they've been knocking it out of the park with their USB cables for USB mics. The last ones for the NT or not NT, I can't even remember the N is DCM 100. Yeah, DCM 100 and the I can't remember. Those two, the USB cables they got with those were fantastic. They were like, I think about 12 feet long. So, oh God, you building a new set? Yes, Quebecer, I am. Dan found a cupboard with about 40 Rode USB mics at work once. Vibraphone power rack. School
Nice.
life. LOL. I think they sold fine. Nice. Yeah, I haven't played with a lot of Rode's USB mics. Outside of the pod mic, I've had very few bad experience. Like I didn't even have a bad experience with the pod mic. It's a nice mic. It looks pretty. It's just thin. It doesn't sound the greatest. It gets beat by an SM58, which just buy an SM58. However, everything else they've released since that pod mic has been fantastic. And I mean, you got to give props to a company that's capable of doing the R&D for things like Rode Connect. Things like Rode Connect.
Well, I think the thing that differs, that makes Rode a good company, is they listen. You know, they're not just blasting shit out into the ether for people to die. They're actually sitting and saying, well, like, what do you guys think of this? And they're actually acting on some of the, you know, the things that people have asked them to improve over the years. A lot of companies don't do that. A lot of companies just think that they have the best ideas and that they'll just pound stuff out. People will buy it. And there's companies that have gone belly up because of that.
Liberty Dude had to get a neat Skyline to make a video, the worst microphone ever. It's funny because Liberty Dude and I got into this back when I did that video because I also did the neat mics Bumblebee.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the Bumblebee or the...
That was the King Bee.
No, the Bumblebee. I did the small USB mic. But the neat Bumblebee underwhelmed me. It was just another USB mic that sounded meh. It sounded okay, and it just felt like a cookie cutter stamp of USB mics just coming out one after the other. But the neat Skyline, I actually gave a great review for. And why? Why would you do that? Like, wouldn't you give the great review to the neat Bumblebee? But the problem is the neat Skyline was basically only comparative to the neat Skyline was your computer microphone. That's it. There's no like, it doesn't challenge the SM58 because it's just meant for somebody doing like conference calls on Zoom that wants to be able to talk and not sound like they're in a hollow computer. And for that, it sounded fantastic.
You know, Mike, I really want to get and mess around with, and I don't know how this is going to be possible. I want to get one of those neat or those Shure ceiling tile conference.
Oh,
boardroom
I
mics.
would kill. Like, especially in the building you're in, you could probably like set it up.
Install it, in a studio.
that'd
And
be
then
so
be
cool.
able to isolate like different parts of the room. Like, oh my God, that'd be so cool.
Well, as long as you're well treated around the room, it would sound fantastic too.
Yeah, and like all of the studios in our building are all built without parallel walls. Like it's kind of funny. You walk down the halls in our building and it looks like a preschooler drew the designs because all the walls are fucking like it's like we're inside a Tim Burton movie. But it works. The actual sound treatment in the rooms is very minimal, but because none of the walls are parallel, and everything's carpeted and there's acoustic tile, it's like dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this is funny. Andrew C., I love this, buddy. Thank you. I wish you'd tagged me in this comment. Aiden, I asked Rode in the NT USB Plus release video if they were releasing USB mics as a shot over your bow on the USB stance. They got a smiley face from them.
Nice.
Well, we know exactly why they didn't send me the NT USB Mini. Like, and that's okay. Like, I don't mind not getting those mics. And I don't like the way that I'm kind of narrowing this channel and I'm kind of directing this channel is nowhere near the USB microphone sphere. And I think that's the thing. Like, unless it's something like the new Rode streaming mics, those mics were amazing pieces of gear. Like that's something that's exciting. But if it's just a USB microphone, I'm probably not going to be over the moon for it. Bangs USB 2.0 can I be 16 feet 5 meters, USB 3 or 10 feet 3 meters. So it must be a 10-foot USB 3 cable because those are USB 3.
I mean, you can do longer than that if you've got some kind of an extender.
Yeah, I don't, but yeah, the way those cables work though, 10 feet doesn't feel like enough for some USB cables.
I don't know. I feel like I've read somewhere that the theoretical maximum for USB 3.1 is like 90 feet.
3.1, isn't that with power?
Well, yeah, 3 and 3.1 have two
Okay. Because
parallel sets of lines.
Yeah, Bumblebee Tuna. Thanks, Dan. I missed that joke. That was one of my favorite jokes about that. Bumblebee 2. Bumblebee 2? Bumblebee Tuna. I have a 30-foot USB micro, and I think it's a USB 2. And it works. It transfers all of the information from my camera to my computer because I don't have a card reader on my computer. So I just hook it up with a USB 2. It's the mini, the big chonker mini connector. I got to get a new camera one of these days. The Worker Bee was really amazing mic from the line when it went sub US $100. Yeah, you know what? The Worker Bee, they never actually sent me that. They sent me the King Bee. They never sent me the new King Bee, which is sad. And I actually gave away the Worker Bee to my old co-host, Jay. So I don't even have the old Worker Bee anymore. On Google, your Skyline review is the first suggested video. You know what? And you know why that is, that Skyline video? When I did that, so basically I just did a comparison of computer audio and Skyline audio. That was the comparison. And when I did that, I didn't think much of it. I put the video out. It didn't do much because it was a video about a Skyline microphone. Who's watching that on this channel? Anyways, Rhodes or Neat saw it, and Neat was like, they reached out to me and they're like, hey dude, can we use your video for promotions? And I said, yeah, I don't really care. I mean, I wasn't proving anything with it. And they're like, well, we're just gonna use it on social. We're not gonna be using it much on microphone or on sales or anything like that. We're just using it for social, and we're just taking a clip out. And they took the clip out of that comparison, and they started posting it. They got a ton of love from a bunch of people, and then that boosted it up. So that's the reason. I think all of that activity is what put it as the top video for that. That's awesome, though. This is really fun, but I do need to get in the shower. Sean, you can bring us in the shower with you. If you try hard enough, you can fit Dylan and I in the shower with you, buddy.
It's okay. We like it extra steamy.
Is it all the plug talk or just Aiden's sexual magnetism?
The plug talk.
Could be a little bit of both, Bangs. You know, you imagine that big old skyline and me smiling beside it. Yeah, that's hot.
Oh, yeah.
My Thunderbolt 3 analog cable at 40 megabits per second is 18 inches. I paid a lot for a 6-foot active cable. Yeah, cables are ridiculous for price, man, especially when you start getting into that the long Thunderbolt cables. Thunderbolt 4 really interests me. I've thought about putting a card in my computer for it because I know some things are going that way, especially interfaces. They skipped right over USB 3 and they're just going to go for Thunderbolt 4. However, I do have a complaint about an interface that I don't even have yet. The MBox Studio from Avid, Dylan. I'm getting my hands on one. They're making me buy it.
Oh, so you finally got in touch with somebody.
I finally got in touch with somebody at Avid. So I got in touch with the dude at Avid. He got a hold of me and he's like, okay, I'm going to hook you up with the distributor in Canada. So he sends a nice little group email saying, hey, buddy, this is Aiden. Aiden wants the MBox Studio to do a review. And I'm also looking at probably replacing the AudioFuse Studio. Mm-hmm. And so he sets that up and I'm like, cool. So I start chatting with him and he calls me. He's like, hey man, okay, so I'm going to have to hook you up with the guy that can actually sell this to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. So now I'm in a third email exchange with the guy that can actually get me the product. I don't know how much they're going to charge me for it. I will be buying it, which means if this thing sucks, I'm not going to have a way to return it. Like at all.
Well, but also, you can be pretty much straight up because it's like, you don't.
Oh, I'm going to be straight up regardless.
Yeah, you don't owe them anything.
No, I don't owe anyone anything. But the
No.
first thing I'm kind of pissed off at Avid for doing this. The USB interface on this brand new. Okay, so
This 2.0.
This is an interface that's basically replacing the AudioFuse Studio. If you look at the specs of the MBox Studio versus the AudioFuse Studio, it's real close, except for gain. The MBox only has 60 dB of gain. The AudioFuse Studio has 72. Okay, so that in itself is like, oh, that's okay. It's more expensive, the MBox Studio.
Of course it is, because it's Avid. Avid hardware is always expensive.
Is it going to be good though? Is Avid known for?
Oh, it'll be good. Avid,
Okay,
Avid
all right.
in their professional lineup of stuff, like converters and even their Omni, their like 8 pre-unit, and they have like another channel. Like their hardware is good.
Okay.
It's not as good as the price would suggest, I would say, in some cases, but it's still good. Like it's very professional equipment.
I'm hoping he's going to give me a bit of a deal, like as something. Like it hasn't hit market yet, or I think it's about to hit market, or it just hit market. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous now that I'm paying for it because I know there's no return on it. I don't mind buying stuff. I really don't. But if it really stinks, if it's something that's just trash, I don't want to keep it.
No. I don't think.
That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, well, and hopefully they don't charge you full market price for it because that would be kind of silly.
I probably won't buy it if it is because...
Yeah, well, because it's like, why wouldn't I just buy it from the store then at that point? Like, why am I even dealing with you people?
But I would also rather go through Long and McQuaid and borrow it from them, which they'll lend it to me, do the review, and then go, okay, I do want this.
And
That's
then,
something then I'll contact them and get it through them. But why am I getting it through a distributor anyways, we'll see. USB 2 is fine for 8 channels or less. That's the problem. This is an 1820.
Yeah.
It's 1820. It's maybe even more. Fuck, man. Like, come on. You can't be USB 2 anymore. And why are we stuck on 2.0? Why are we stuck on that, Dylan? Like, I understand there's licensing and it's expensive, but it's a $1,000 interface. Don't you think they could spend the little bit of money?
I think it's compatibility. I think there's a lot of studios running, gear that's 10 years old because they haven't, studios, here's the thing we have to understand about recording studios. Studios will use what works, not what's new. So if they find a rig that is good for producing and creating records with relatively new plugins, they'll like disconnect that machine from the internet. They'll lock it down. Like, we're going to sit with this for 10 years. So there's still a lot of studios that are avid people. So I think that, compatibility is a big concern. Now, could they make it backwards compatible? Yeah, the USB 3.0, 3.1 spec in it has backwards compatibility. But if you use a 3.1 interface for audio, you're going to be using a good amount of that bandwidth. You're going to want to take advantage of the throughput of that unit. So could you really you basically have to design a whole other driver to be able to run in 2.0 mode, which I guess they've just determined is not even worth it. So fuck it. Let's just stick with the 2.0 spec.
What I'm going to do, by the way, is if this thing's trash, I'm taking my AudioFuse Studio back and I'm giving this to you.
Sure. Sounds good. I'll take it. It's fucking got Avid written on it. Fucking Avid fanboy at this point. I got about $2,300 of Avid and right in front of the camera.
Are their plugins good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're AIR, Advanced Instrument Research, which is a brand of plugins that Avid is responsible for. They're pretty good. I mean, Strike's a good drum plugin. It's not the best. Native Instruments kicks its ass, but Avid does some pretty good stock plugins.
I think what they might offer me is like, hey, you can pay for it full price, but we'll give you all this like software.
As far as all the like processor plugins and stuff. I mean, for stock plugins, I can't speak to Logic because I have never used the plugins in Logic. But as far as stock plugins, they're the best of any DAW I've used, even Reaper. Like Avid actually makes pretty good stock stuff that just comes with the DAW.
Nice. Andrew, any Black Friday recommendations to keep an eye on? This is something I struggled with last year.
Remember was it last year we did the stream on Black Friday morning? Was
Yeah.
it that? I remember that was kind of neat.
Did we actually go through and find Black Friday? No, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it all blends
That was
together at this
2 years
point.
ago. Because I struggled with it last year thinking like it just feels like I'm trying to grab money when
Yeah.
I do those recommendations. And I don't really feel right about that. However, I do also understand that you guys want some like Black Friday recommendations, Black Friday fun stuff. So actually I'm gonna put up a poll. Should I do a Black Friday stream? There. That's the question. 'Cause I want to know because to me it feels like a money grab. Because I'm going to be going through the stuff, and obviously the way you pay for that is affiliate links, right? Is I'm spending 3 hours out of my time doing a Black Friday stream. That's kind of the return on investment for that. But then I also feel kind of dirty doing that. So I would like to.
Dirty.
What's that?
Feeling dirty.
Feeling a little dirty. In my new facility, all the computers are in the server room, no fan noise. I'm using USB over Ethernet for keyboard, mouse, and video. Nice.
Perfect. Yep, that's the ideal setup. Is you have a machine room where all the gear lives, and then your studio's dead quiet. I am not so lucky.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have an extender. I have a really good like $4,000 Adderlink Infinity dual extender that's fucking amazing. But I don't know where to put the computer. Like I don't have a separate room that I can just throw my tower
This is
in.
the problem with closets work too, but then you got heat issues.
Well, I would ventilate it, but I mean these are not even walk-in closets in this place.
Yeah,
So.
I know. And you know what? That's the beauty of having a house. Like I'm getting noisier here as I add gear, so I can just throw stuff in the attic if I need and run a. Yeah.
Or in the laundry room, which is like right beside where your computer is anyway.
Yeah. There's
put a shelf
water
on the
over
wall
there.
somewhere.
Yeah, put a shelf. There's water.
Yeah, that's
there.
what my buddy did at his place. He's got an apartment. He ran a hole through the wall and he put up a shelf like above the stairway,
Nice.
like on the way up to the second floor. And on that shelf is his computer, his interface, like everything that makes noise.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Maybe.
Yeah, Miss Ravioli voted.
Yes. 14% say no. Okay.
Miss Ravioli
votes.
voted.
So of the 14 people that said, or 14% of people that said no, 25%, is it because it's basically just a money grab? That's what I want to know.
I think this year it's tough because a lot of people's wallets have really taken a stabbing this year. So I don't know that there's going to be a ton of I don't think there's going to be as much disposable income this Black Friday. So
Yeah. Well, it's also like, and I do see a lot of streamers do it. Like a lot of computer people do it. And you know why like, I've seen some where it's like, you know, everything is just through where they have affiliate links to.
You know what they should do? You know what they should do this year for Black Friday? They should have Black Friday at the fucking grocery store. Because let's be honest, that's where we're all hoping for some fucking deals right about now.
Right.
Like, today's deal on all produce, 50% off. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
please, fuck. Like,
Chris Barrell. Hey, how's it going?
Crispal.
It's my first time making a home studio, and I'm trying to create a home studio. I have a budget of $300.
that's going to be tough.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
the
but at least
studio
the
is
PC
relative.
At least the PC is not included, so that's good.
Sneed, what's up, buddy? We're
Sneed
live.
Mobile Tech.
Been seeing cheap mics like the SM7B all month. SM7B's been on sale? Nice. Crisp. $300 for a budget studio to start with. I'm taking that's US dollars.
Here's hoping.
You're not going to like it, but an SM58 and a Scarlett Solo or a 2i2.
Yep.
Depends on what you're doing with the. So, and this is the thing. Like, I got a Scarlett 2i2. I got it back there. No pass-through audio, which pisses me off. The idea that there's no pass-through audio on a third-gen Scarlett 2i2 is ludicrous. Like, it's just ludicrous that you can't have pass-through audio. And it's not a cheap interface. Like, they're not the cheapest you can buy. However, I mean, if that's what if you're just looking to start, and yeah, SM58 and the Scarlett 2i2, or actually if you spend a few dollars more and you need a little bit more versatility, the Lewitt Connect 6, and you should be just maybe a bit over the $300 mark.
I'd say the 2i2, but you're gonna want to get some acoustic treatment in there.
Yeah.
So what I would say is go to like a government surplus store and buy up some old like partition walls for cubicles. Honestly, for like you can get one of those for like $40 or $50, and that's a whole wall now that you essentially have treated.
Yeah.
So
Beresford's got it right. Spend it all on sound treatment. It's tough when he's been looking at the Scarlett Solo, a decent interface.
Yeah, Scarlett stuff, you're not going to go wrong with Scarlett stuff. I mean, it does well.
And it's great. Like, it's stuff that you can also resell. So if you need to resell a Scarlett Solo, you throw that on Facebook Marketplace, it'll go. If you try to sell the Behringer Euphoria, whatever it is, that might have a harder time selling. So putting a few extra dollars in the purchase of the Scarlett Solo, you will actually come around and help you out in the end. Yes, you should have something for the walls. However, and I showed this way back when I was in my old basement studio. I had no sound treatment on my walls, but it was fine because I was in clutter, right?
The clutter absorbs and a lot of reflections, and
go sit in your most cluttered room and you'll be fine. Like, you're not going to be doing like high-end professional voiceover out of the room.
No.
But that's probably not what you're going to be doing.
And for God's sake, get a goddamn dynamic mic, for fuck's sake. Like, don't mess around with that. Don't get a U87 or even like an NT2A. If you're in a shitty room, get an RE20 or an SM7 or something, a 58. Get a 58.
Red Cabin says the money you would save if you find good deals is far more than you make. That's true. That might be worth it for the stream. All right, next Friday maybe we'll do an early Good Friday.
Yeah, I think last time we did it at did you say Good Friday?
Or Black Friday. Yeah,
Bad Friday.
Black Friday, Good Friday, same thing. Could just be a stream on what you buy for your use case to not overspend.
I don't know. What are your plans? Let's maybe talk about each other's plans, or should we wait till next week's stream to do that?
For Black Friday?
Yeah. Like, what do you buy? Are you after anything? Like, what are you buying?
No, nothing for the studio. I'm actually in a bit of a hold pattern outside of building the new set. I'm in a bit of a hold pattern for purchases because I still have stuff I'm reviewing.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm going on next Friday, what I'm going to be looking for is stuff that I'm willing to throw in front of the camera. So when I go on and I see, I don't know, AT2020, something that I haven't featured in a long time, I'll throw on an AT2020. Sure, I got it for $99, whatever. I'll throw that up and I'll do a review on that. But I'm not going to be I don't really have anything outside of the interface because that pass-through audio has already bit me in the ass with the Scarlett 2i2, and that shit's got to go. So
Chris Barrell, would we recommend the AKG P120?
Oh, yes.
As a mic, yes, but you're in a not treated room. So the SM58, the Shure SM58 is probably going to be better for you.
Condenser mics are going to be a pain in the ass until you get treatment. Yeah. Big time.
Although the P120 isn't as sensitive as some mics.
He says it's in a carpeted room with a lot of clutter.
Yeah.
You know what? Here, Chris Barrell. Purchase the mic on Amazon. Use one of my affiliate links if you want to feel nice. Purchase it on Amazon. Try it out, and if it sounds really crappy because you're not cluttered enough or you need more treatment, send it back and get a dynamic microphone. So give it a shot. Try the microphone. Just make sure you buy it from a source that you can return it to. You don't want to screw that up. Naughty Bangs Naughty Bits. I don't know why I called you
Naughty.
Naughty. The
naughty boy.
SM7B is US 360 and Amazon has been for weeks. Lots of gear like the Wii and P4 have been 25 to 30% discounts. Nice. I want a P5. So, how about it? Damn it. Sneed, I'm passed at my Motu M2. Oh, I'm pissed, I'm guessing. Only one channel works right side. When I record on mobile devices, Motu doesn't have a fix. That sucks.
Yeah, Mark of the Unicorn, I found I have not been impressed, at least with their like prosumer, like, kind of medium interfaces go. Like the software, they're not reliable. They're not reliable.
No, but Motu, when they came out with the M2 and the M4, they were really nice for the price. The problem is when you buy relatively speaking cheap products like that, there's going to be failure points, and it might not be something that every unit sees, but you're going to probably have higher failure points with cheaper products. Same thing goes with Scarlett. Same things go with, like, I even had the PreSonus, the AudioFuse Mini, Mini Fuse 2.
Arturia.
The Mini Fuse 2, Arturia Mini Fuse 2. God, Fridays are hard for me. And I had that and it failed. It had a cap go and it took a mic out with it. So, and that was after like 4 months. So you're always going to have, like, when you don't spend the money, you're always going to have failure points. That's why way back I invested in the AudioFuse Studio, because you spend the money, but you don't have the failure points. And there's a bit of a reputation they're trying to uphold with that kind of stuff. So 75 to 25 for the poll, 12 votes. All right. I guess we'll do a Black Friday stream. Bangs Naughty Bit says Dylan loves his Yeti. Aw. It's me and my Skyline, Dylan and his Yeti. Thank you for your time, Chris. Cheers, brother. I'm not starting a new studio. I've actually finished my first video for my second channel. I'm doing a new studio set. So it's going to be just new. I'm going to basically turn my camera around. It's going to be a tool-based, kind of a Mr. Fix-It based set. So when I'm doing stuff like replacing the capsule on my NT2A, which you okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Replacing the capsule on my NT2A, I'm going to be able to use that set. And it's going to be a little more, for what I'm doing. That's going to be kind of fun. And it's nice to change it up a bit. So, I'd like to see Aiden to have the opportunity to play with some Austrian audio mics. God damn it, yes. I've been in chat. OC16, I think it is. It's still on the way. Somewhere.
Also,
I don't know where it is.
When are you putting out your Vanguard V13 mic review?
Yeah, I got that too. Vanguard V13 is in the house. I'm trying to figure out the spin on that. I don't know what to do with it, man. I don't want to just like, here is a microphone.
Well, I mean, you've never reviewed Vanguard, so that in and of itself carries with it a little bit of interest.
This is one of their cheaper mics too, right? Vanguard?
No, it's that mic is, well, I think it retailed when I bought it around $1,400 US.
No, I don't mean that it's a cheap mic. I mean, on their lineup, it's one of their cheaper. Do they have cheaper mics than this?
Oh, yeah, they've got like a $400 mic. Yeah.
Really?
No, they've got a lot of cheap. That's actually one of their more expensive mics.
Okay.
Actually, in fact, that might be their most expensive mic.
All right.
Surprisingly.
If you can figure out, maybe you just, this is introduction to Vanguard. I kind of wanted to have some sort of a spin to that.
Yeah.
We'll see though. I've been staring at it.
The color of the mic is Merlot. Does it sound as smooth as it looks? I don't know.
Zoom PodTrack P4 is still $149 in the US, $149. Sorry, that's no. That's how we always called it. Whenever it's $149.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even react because I still have a lot of friends that do
Canadian
that.
thing, eh? $149 there, bud. Mark of the Poonicorn.
Yeah, nailing it.
Our mic stands really worth hundreds of dollars crisp. So
yes,
they are.
They are your insurance policy.
So there's a couple ways to go at this, crisp. If you're talking about a boom arm, like Rhodes PSA 1 Plus, that is $160, I think, or $130 US. Yes, because if you have a $400 mic that you're hanging off just this little piece of metal right here, and your boom arm decides to go screw you one day, and that $400 mic hits the desk from about 1.5 feet up. Ask me then whether or not it was worth the money to spend on a decent boom arm. The more expensive booms, you can get into the $400, the $500, the $1,200 boom arms. Are they worth it? Well, they're worth it to a certain level of a person. So yes, they are if you're swapping out expensive microphones more and more. The general rule is you shouldn't have a microphone that's way more expensive on your boom arm than your boom arm was. If you're talking about actual microphone stands, for lead singers, no, $30 is tops.
No, well, and the funny thing is I was a little shocked to find this out recently, but Mika, the Yellowtech stuff. Yellowtech stuff, from what I've heard from higher ups in engineering, is not respected in the engineering community.
Really?
The shit falls apart all the time apparently, and the parts are ridiculously expensive to replace. And
that's a good business model. I mean,
but I mean, apparently it's all in the aesthetic, and I have to say, yeah. I mean, I've got a Mika above my that my SM7 is on, and I mean it works. I'm not of any illusion that the SM7 is going to fall off of it, but look at how fluidly and easy it is for me to move my RE27. Meanwhile, this thing, it's very rigid. I can't.
Yeah.
It's just they're not. It's not great.
They're not user friendly.
Yeah, well, and it has been balanced properly. I've adjusted the gas spring in it to actually match the weight of the mic, because the the SM7B is a heavy microphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still. I mean, it works and it looks cool because it's Mika, and Mika shit looks cool, and it's got the tally light at the end, which I really like.
Yeah, that's. I still have to call them. I have the OC White, which is just like Mika, a really expensive boom arm.
Yeah.
Worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. They're not user friendly, but when I put a mic on it, I know the mic isn't going to fall.
Yeah.
That's
the main thing, right? It's it might not be able to move it around as fluidly as the PSA 1 does.
Yeah.
But it'll at least.
And I've had a PSA 1 fail on me, and that's not a shot. There's going to be a failure rate in them. However, when you look at the build of a Mika or an OC White, you can see that it's not going to happen, because you actually physically tighten those connection points. They're not all spring.
The system pole that the actual arm sits on, which is kind of the foundation of the whole Mika system, it's solid steel.
Yeah.
It's no plastic other than little caps at the ends, the little yellow brand caps. But yeah, other than that, they're solid steel.
Yep.
And yeah, they're not going anywhere. And the actual arm itself just sits right on the top of that. So it's you pull on that as hard as you want. And the actual mounting point to the desk is going to go away before the actual arm does.
Andrew's telling me I basically want to get my hands on the OC16. It's the bass condenser, but you want the dynamic handheld to hold up to the SM58. I'm going to take whatever they decide to give me, and I haven't worked with Austrian Audio yet. I'm going to reach out to them and just kind of poke them again, because they messaged me about 2 months back or a month back, and we're like, yeah, it's back. We're going to be sending it to you, and then nothing. So I'll find out. Dylan, that's a tube style versus scissor arm style.
Yeah.
That's bangs. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Dan, I'm using two PSA 1s simultaneously. I've doubled the odds. PSA 1s are the best boom arm for the price. I would actually say, though, the PSA 1 Plus is worth a couple extra bucks. I really like it feels more secure. It's a lot quieter in its operation. I now have two, one on either side of me, and they're fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And the upgrade is worth a few extra bucks from the PSA 1. The funny thing about the PSA 1 arms is the number of monitor or TV replacements that happen after unpacking a PSA 1 Plus.
Oh, right. When people don't
fucking
put fwing,
don't
they fly open.
Oh, that. I thought they were trying to mount monitors on these arms. Don't mount
Well, yeah.
monitors on the arms.
No, there is an approved payload maximum
Yeah.
on these arms. Adhere to that as much as you can. Weigh your
but
mics.
also, I just unpacked this PSA 1 Plus. Very clearly in the packaging, it tells you to watch for the spring action.
Yes.
Like, if it surprises you, maybe you should read the packaging a little bit better. Come on. Yeah,
oh God. Well, even when I pack it in shipping, like when I was bringing it from London and I had it compressed and I like had wrapped it in like a bunch of zip ties and like tied a sticky to it, says hold while cutting.
Well, also, if you have to like send this or do something with this, you can actually tighten it so it won't spring open.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why Rode doesn't do. I guess they don't want people loosening the screw because that can get a little hairy.
Yeah.
But Midnight Wolf, my $7 Neewer arm works, but don't move it. Yeah. And a lot of people ask if whether or not it's worth to get the really cheap, like you can get the whole kits for like $17. You get a boom arm, you get all this crap. Like for a month and a half, it'll be great. And then it literally sounds like you're, as soon as you move it, you hear every little.
Oh, I remember they had those in our college. Like, remember when we were in college? Those were the arms that they had, and like half of them were at least like 75% of them were missing springs.
So garbage.
Or like they were all like kind of like teetering over because they weren't mounted properly. Like, yeah, just stupid.
Oh, this is good. So Bangs says Heil PL2T is also great. Has a cable channel built in.
Yeah.
Good God. I want to try. There's not enough time to try all the boom arms. Also, I'm trying to avoid getting too many boom arms because they really pile up fast. Liberty Dude wants to know. Noted channel member, by the way. Liberty Dude. What do you think of your RA27 over your RA20? Woof. I'm going to be borrowing that microphone, by the way, just so everyone knows. I'm going to do a roundup of all the REs. So I've got the RE320, the RE20, the RE27. I'm going to do also, somebody has requested, this is an interesting one. They want me to test these microphones in a kick drum. So do you have a kick drum?
I can source one.
Okay.
Easily. I have one. It's just not in my place. I'm in an apartment. No shit.
If you can source me that kick drum, I would like to actually start including that on certain microviews. Like microviews, like if I do the RE27 test, I would love to do the kick drum for the 320 because it's got the little switch for the kick drum on, I believe, all the mics, right? They all have that switch for the kick drum. Yeah,
that low end to not blow the shit out of the element.
So I've been talking over. What do you think about the RE27? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I like it. I used one at work for years. Got really awesome VO out of it. Never used it to record any kind of music stuff. So now, and in my case, my RE20 is kind of flawed in that there's like a buzz. There's like a subharmonic buzz in the filament somewhere. There's something is obviously a little bit blown. So it's I don't get accurate stuff. Like I couldn't use that RE20 for voiceover.
Ooh, you should send it to me. I'll contact Electro Voice and see if I can get it replaced. That's off the record. No one heard that.
No one heard that. But
no one heard that.
So, but it's So obviously, I'm pleased that that's done. But no, I've always liked the RE27 over the RE20. I think my favorite part is again how much more flexible it is with the switches. For use on like Aiden saying like kick drum or something.
Yeah, and so the RE27 takes 6 dB less gain to drive it.
Yeah.
It's a lot
hotter.
clearer. I find it has a similar EQ curve to the RE20, but I find it a little crispier.
Yeah.
I find it doesn't sound like, and a lot of people have kind of called out, I love the RE20, but they're like, it sounds kind of like mechanical and I think it's a little smoother
mechanical.
Than the RE20. Well, it does have the mids are a little too crisp.
Oh yeah.
So the high mids, are a little too crisp.
I guess. Yeah, I've never found like, again, I automatically EQ every mic regardless. So I don't often notice just by default what texture it has.
It's funny because I have to. Like that's
Yeah, you're never processing.
No.
Yeah, because you're reviewing stuff, so you're just listening to them exactly as they are.
Andrew says, I wouldn't lend you my audio gear. You have a reputation of hitting them with sledges. No, just one. And I made sure I purchased that. I would never destroy some of Dylan's products. Ever.
What was
Chris,
it you used a sledge on?
that was
I
the
don't remember.
MXL 770.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So if you lent me an MXL 770, it'd be your own fault. For
Yeah,
owning
pretty
the
much.
MXL 770,
Yeah,
frankly.
yep.
PSA 1 will hold a 13-inch iPad. Well, that's what I'm watching you guys on. Cool. I did not know that. Well, I would guess, yeah, 13-inch iPad isn't too big. So that, like, it's not too heavy. They're pretty light.
Yeah.
I can hear my dogs pacing upstairs because it's been over an hour. You got bets on whether or not they shit in the middle of the kitchen? Anyone?
Oh, I'm going for it. You're gonna try to spoon that in your coffee maker tomorrow morning.
Don't ask. Actually, I think coffee maker's broken. We're getting a new one. We're getting one of those cappuccino makers.
Oh, the Nespresso?
No. Like the $1,000.
Like an actual cat. Nice.
Yeah, the really nice one. That's gonna be my Christmas present.
Nice.
Bangs, have you ever had to replace the foam on an RE? Yes. That one, the 20. Didn't you replace the foam on that one? Yeah.
Yep. Pain in the butt.
Yeah, Electro Voice actually, I believe, sent you the foam for that, didn't they? Like
No, they offered, but I never took them up on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I just posted about it as all the foam fell out, like on Instagram, jokingly. Like I wasn't shading Electro Voice at all. Like that mic was this mic has been horribly abused in its lifetime by on air, like morning show hosts smoking a pack while they're in the station, like stupid shit, right? So I'm like, but they're like, yeah, like just send our team a message and, happy to help out with that. And I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
That's, now I feel kind of bad. That was not what I meant at all.
Bang says the RE20 and RE27 are both 57 dBV. They're not actually. 51 or 52 dBV, I believe, for the 27. I remember that because I was back when I was doing the original RE20. I remember looking at that and going, that's why. Because the last time I'd used an RE27 was back in 2015 or 2014. And yeah, it was a lot more present. It had a little more. Anyways, hell, I'd be down if you do a Thanksgiving stream. I don't know what's going to happen for Thanksgiving. Because it's not our Thanksgiving.
Yeah, quite frankly.
And I'm going to be curious whether or not, yeah, the RE20 does require more gain, Daniel. Has neodymium magnet, which requires less gain, similar to the RE320. I thought so. Daniel's right. I don't know. Yeah, we don't celebrate American Thanksgiving here. However, we'll see. We'll see what happens going up to that. I know we celebrate the Black Friday. Keep wanting to call it Good Friday. Other than that, I think we're done because I think my dog's about to shit in the middle of the kitchen. My wife's out of town for the weekend, so I'm having a nice,
You're
relaxing...
steering the boat.
52 TBV. I am correct. Thank you, Bangs. I don't think I've ever heard Bangs say that. Wow. That's I actually might frame that and put it up in the studio. Bangs Naughty Bits. You are correct. That's worth having in the studio right there.
Hell has frozen over.
Well, cold hard numbers you can't really argue, right? That's something you just can't do anything about.
No.
And my dog has come into the basement. Oh, Missy. All right.
Again, this is kind of like, what was it that, remember on that one, what was it, the video that you and I did about the SM58 and the SM7?
Yeah.
And like how this guy came down, he was like, what do you mean those Transformers? What do you mean, stupid? And like, I just posted a link as a comment to the guy finally, and it was just like from the Shure's website explaining that the SM7 does not have a transformer in it.
And the irony is shortly after that, I had called Shure and I talked to one of their techs, and the tech, we actually laughed about that comment. Like I was saying, oh yeah, this guy says he worked with you, and he's like, who is he? Never heard of him. I'm like,
Yeah.
didn't think so, considering all
Yeah,
the.
like that's the
he was
problem with
mad.
Shure, eh? Is like Shure is a small company. Like, like it's not like there's like millions of or like thousands of people that work for Shure. It's a very small company.
Oh, Andrew has a great idea.
What?
I wonder if a video on microphone health would be interesting. You swab pop filters and mics, send the
Oh.
samples to a lab and see what grows.
Oh man. Oh Jesus. That'd be
So
that
you
would
have
be
some
interesting.
you have some shared microphones at your work. You think you'd be able to swab every the morning show hosts
Yeah.
at Shay?
Oh yeah. Yeah, easily.
Because that would be fun. Like, because they're shared mics. Like, everyone uses the same. Their RA20 still up there, right?
I don't. I think it's the Neumann, the BCMs.
Oh, they have the BCMs now. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
everyone moved BCM 104s. That's actually a great idea. I'm gonna have
And
to
then
look
we
into that.
we figure out some kind of a lab that we could link up with to do that. 'Cause,
Oh,
that'd be
yeah.
interesting.
I would have to set it up. Like, I'm pretty sure Life Labs would do something like that. I'm pretty sure. You don't think so? The funny thing is the wife is a midwife and she deals with labs all the time, so I can just reach out and like
Yeah,
have her reach
yeah,
out to
that's-
one of her contacts.
So that'd be perfect. I think we should totally do this.
Thank you for that, Andrew. We are totally going to do that. Anyways, my dog is right now like rubbing up against my leg in a very unusual pattern, and I think that's the pee-pee dance for her.
Oh boy.
So, thanks for showing up, guys. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next Friday.
Ciao, ciao.